I never imagined my marriage would end inside that cold, echoing courtroom with its peeling beige walls and the smell of old paper clinging to the air. But maybe I should have expected it. Maybe the universe had been warning me for years. Through the slammed doors, the silent dinners, the arguments whispered in the hallway after our daughter went to bed. But the day my daughter played that video, that was the day everything I thought I knew about my life split in half like glass under a hammer. It started early that morning. I woke up with a heaviness in my chest, the kind that sits right on your ribs and makes breathing feel like an effort. I stared at the ceiling fan spinning slowly above me and thought, this is the last morning I'll ever wake up married. The room felt too quiet, too neat, too staged, like I was living in a hotel room instead of the house I had poured years of my life into. My soon-to-be ex, Melissa, had already left. She always left early now, as if the house offended her. Our daughter, Ava, wasn't home either. She'd been staying with my sister for a week. Melissa insisted it was less stressful for Ava, but I always knew she had something else in mind. Melissa had been controlling every detail of this divorce with the precision of a surgeon. As I got dressed, I kept wondering why Ava had barely spoken to me all week. She was 15, yes, and teenagers could be unpredictable, but I had never felt distance from her like this. She usually hugged me before bed every night. But now, nothing. No messages, no calls, just silence. And silence from your child is the loudest sound in the world. The drive to the courthouse was a blur. The early winter wind slapped against the windshield, and a gray-blue sky hung low over the city like it, too, was tired of everything. I parked, walked up the stone steps, and pulled open the heavy doors. The courtroom was half full, a few strangers sitting for their own hearings. A bored bailiff leaning against the wall. Melissa sitting at the table with her attorney, her hair sleek and perfect, her expression cold. Ava was there too, sitting in the back row, clutching her phone like it was a life raft. She didn't look at me. She didn't even blink in my direction. That hurt more than anything else in that room. My attorney nudged me. "You ready?" "Not even a little," I muttered, but I followed him to our table. The judge entered. Everyone stood, then sat. And just like that, my marriage was on display, dissected in front of strangers. Melissa started with her claims. Always calm, always polished. He was emotionally neglectful, absent, unreliable. I raised our daughter alone, she said, her voice a performance crafted to perfection. Every sentence felt like a knife. My attorney rebutted, but Melissa's lawyer, this slick, smug guy with a voice like sandpaper, kept painting me as some sort of half-present father who didn't know what was happening in his own home. I kept glancing back at Ava. Her jaw was tight. Her eyes were red. She looked like she was holding something inside her so fiercely it might explode. Halfway through the hearing, just when I thought I couldn't take another minute of being torn apart, the judge asked, "Is there anything further from either party?" Melissa's lawyer leaned forward. "Yes, Your Honor. The child wishes to speak." I froze. Ava wanted to speak. My heart pounded as she stood and walked to the front. She wasn't trembling. She wasn't crying. She looked determined. The judge raised an eyebrow. "Young lady, you understand that anything you present today must be truthful?" "Yes," she said, her voice steady. "Go ahead, then." Ava took a deep breath and lifted her phone. "I have a video I need to show. It's important, and it's the truth." Melissa shifted in her seat. "Ava, sweetheart, I don't think—" Ava didn't look at her. She plugged the phone into the courtroom monitor. The screen lit up, and the room went absolutely still. The video was shaky at first, filmed from behind a cracked door. I immediately recognized the hallway of our house. Melissa's voice came through the speakers, sharp, venomous, nothing like the calm persona she wore in court. "You think I care what he feels?" she hissed. "Let him think he's the problem. Let him bend over backwards. The more guilt he has, the easier this divorce will be. I'll get everything. The house, the custody, the money. He won't even know what hit him." My blood went cold. On the video, another voice responded. It was deeper. Male. Familiar. Her brother. "Melissa, this is messed up," he said quietly. "He doesn't deserve this." "Oh, please," she snapped. He's weak. He wouldn't fight even if he found out. And Ava? She'll choose me when I tell her what to think. My stomach twisted. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Ava's voice was in the video too, shaky, hurt. Mom, why are you saying that? Melissa gasped in the footage, realizing she had been overheard. Ava, what are you doing there? You lied to me, Ava said, her voice breaking. You told me Dad didn't care about us. You told me he cheated. You told me he wanted new life. Why would you say that? Stop recording, Melissa demanded. But Ava didn't stop, and the video kept going. The argument escalated. Melissa tried to grab the phone. Ava screamed for her to stop. Her uncle tried to intervene. The whole thing was chaos, raw, real, impossible to twist into a lie. The video ended. Silence swallowed the room. Melissa was pale as chalk. Her lawyer looked like he wanted to disappear under the table. The judge sat back slowly, studying Melissa with an expression that was equal parts shock and disgust. Ava, the judge said softly, thank you for bringing this forward. Then he turned to Melissa. Mrs. Carter, do you wish to dispute the authenticity of this recording? Melissa opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. No sound came out. Ava walked back to the seats, but instead of returning to the back row, she came to me. Her eyes filled with tears as she collapsed into my arms. I'm sorry, Dad, she whispered, sobbing into my chest. I'm so sorry. She lied to me. She made me hate you. I didn't know. I didn't know the truth. I wrapped my arms around her, my throat tight. It's okay, I said, kissing the top of her head. You did the hardest thing anyone could do. I'm so proud of you. The judge called for a recess, likely to process the bomb Ava had just dropped. But nothing in that courtroom would ever be the same again, because Ava had just burned down the lies that were meant to destroy me. And I had no idea that the fire had only begun to spread. When court resumed, the entire atmosphere had shifted. Something heavy hung in the room, something sour, like the aftermath of a storm that had revealed everything rotten beneath the surface. Melissa kept wiping her palms against her skirt. Her eyes darted around nervously, searching for an escape, a defense, a story she could spin to explain away the truth that had just exploded across the courtroom screens. But there was no escaping it. Not anymore. My attorney leaned toward me and whispered, this changes everything. Custody, property division, spousal support, everything. She's finished. But I didn't feel triumphant. All I felt was tired. Deeply, deeply tired. The judge cleared his throat. Mrs. Carter, would you like to make a statement? Melissa's lips trembled. Your Honor, that video, it was taken out of context. A whisper rolled through the courtroom. The judge raised an eyebrow. Out of context? Are you claiming it was fabricated? No, she said quickly. It's real, but I was emotional, stressed. I didn't mean what I said. Ava stood before I could react. That's not true, she shouted. The bailiff stepped forward, but the judge lifted a hand to stop him. Ava, you already spoke. Please take your seat. But she didn't. She looked at me, then back at the judge with tears streaming down her cheeks. Your Honor, she didn't just lie that day. She's been lying for months. She told me Dad didn't want to spend time with me. She hid his text messages. She deleted the voicemails he left when I didn't respond. She even told me he was planning to move away without me. My breath caught. I had no idea. Every time I texted and never got a reply. Every time I left a voicemail and heard nothing. Every time Ava didn't show up for our weekend plans. I thought she was just angry at me, pulling away, becoming a teenager who didn't need me anymore. But she never even saw those messages. Melissa's face crumpled. Ava, stop. Please. No, Avakraith. I'm done choosing your lies. The judge exhaled slowly. Young lady, thank you. Please sit. Ava wiped her eyes and returned to my side. I squeezed her hand. She squeezed back. For the first time in months, I felt like I had my daughter again. The judge turned to Melissa. Given the evidence presented and the manipulation revealed, I am granting temporary full custody to Mr. Carter until further evaluation. Mrs. Carter, your behavior demonstrates emotional coercion and intentional interference with the father-child relationship. This court takes that extremely seriously. Melissa gasped. You can't do that. You can't just take my daughter away. I'm not taking her away. The judge replied calmly. You did that yourself. Her lawyer tugged her sleeve, whispering something frantically, but Melissa shoved him off. No, this isn't fair. I'm the mother. I am the one who raised her. He was never. The judge banged his gavel sharply. Enough. The sound echoed through the room like a gunshot. My attorney placed a reassuring hand on my shoulder. Let him finish, he whispered. This hearing is no longer about a simple divorce, the judge continued. It is now a case involving parental alienation, manipulation, and emotional abuse. I will be ordering a psychological evaluation and appointing a guardian ad litem to represent the best interests of the child moving forward. Melissa sank into her chair as if the air had been sucked out of her. I didn't smile. I didn't smirk. I felt no triumph in her collapse. All I felt was grief. Grief for the marriage that had died long before today. Grief for the lies that poisoned our home. Grief for the wounds carved into our daughter's heart. The hearing concluded with a flurry of paperwork and scheduling. But the real moment happened afterward, when the courtroom emptied and Melissa stood alone, trembling. Ava stared at her. Melissa looked up, her voice cracking. Ava, please. I'm still your mother. Ava didn't respond. She simply turned and walked out with me. As we stepped into the hallway, she whispered, Dad, can we go home? With you? I swallowed hard. Yes, sweetheart. We can go home. But home was no longer the same house. Not yet. Not after everything. We walked through the quiet corridor, her hand gripping mine so tight it almost hurt. But I didn't let go. Outside, the wind was cold, but the air felt clearer somehow, fresh like the beginning of something new. During the drive, Ava stared out the window. Dad, she said quietly, there's more. Things Mom said. Things she told people about you. Things she told me. I don't know how to undo the damage. You don't have to, I said. You just told the truth today. That's enough. It doesn't feel like enough. I reached over and put my hand over hers. It is. Trust me. We got home hours later, my sister's house. She greeted us at the door with a soft smile and open arms. Ava hugged her, then went to lie down, exhausted. My sister pulled me aside. You okay? I don't know, I admitted. No one comes out of something like this okay, she said. But you're not alone. That night, I sat at the edge of the guest bed where Ava slept. She breathed softly, her hair spread like a dark halo across the pillow. She looked peaceful for the first time in ages. I felt a sting behind my eyes and let the tears fall. Not out of sadness, out of relief, out of gratitude, out of love for a child who stood up in front of a courtroom and told the truth, even when it meant facing down her own mother. But the next few weeks weren't easy. The court evaluation started. The guardian ad litem met with all of us separately. Ava had therapy sessions to help her untangle everything she had been fed and manipulated with. Melissa tried to call. She tried to text. She tried showing up once, but the court order prevented her from taking Ava until the evaluations were complete. Ava didn't hate her. She was hurt, confused, grieving the mother she thought she had. But slowly, the distance that Melissa created between us began to dissolve. One night, Ava knocked on my door. Dad, can we talk? I put down my book. Yeah, what's up? She sat on the edge of the bed. I feel guilty for believing her, for pulling away from you, for thinking you didn't want me. You don't need to feel guilty, I said softly. You trusted your mother. That doesn't make you wrong. It makes you normal. But I hurt you. I shook my head. Sweetheart, you could never hurt me. Not really. Not like that. She leaned against me, her voice breaking. I love you, Dad. I wrapped an arm around her. I love you more than anything. Weeks later, the final evaluation report came out. The judge read it during the last hearing. The conclusion was clear. Melissa had intentionally manipulated Ava against me. She had used lies, emotional pressure, and explosive episodes to control the narrative. She had inflicted psychological harm. The judge granted me primary custody. Melissa was given supervised visitation until she completed a long list of requirements: therapy, parenting classes, and ongoing monitoring. When the gavel hit for the final time, ending the marriage officially, I felt not victory, not revenge, just release. After the hearing, Melissa approached me in the hallway. Her eyes were swollen, desperate, hollow. Please don't take her away from me. I'm not, I said quietly. But you have to rebuild trust. That's on you now. Tears streamed down her face. I messed up. I know I did. Then fix it. Ava walked up, standing beside me. Melissa reached out, a trembling hand. Ava, please. Ava hesitated. Then she whispered, I want a mom who tells me the truth. And then she walked away with me. Months passed. A slow, painful, healing kind of peace settled over our lives. Ava grew closer to me. We laughed again. We talked again. We healed together. Melissa worked on herself, slowly, carefully, and eventually, Ava began attending supervised visits. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. Life didn't return to what it once was. It became something new, something honest, something real. One night, as Ava and I sat on the porch watching the sun disappear behind the trees, she nudged me and said, Dad, I'm glad the truth finally came out. I put my arm around her shoulders. So am I. The truth didn't destroy us. It saved us. And it reminded me of something I'd forgotten for a long time. Sometimes the people who love you most are the ones who will fight for you even when you can't fight for yourself. And sometimes your greatest strength comes from the truth you're brave enough to face. If you want more powerful stories like this, full of twists, emotions, and justice rising from the ashes, keep following and tell me the next title you want turned into a masterpiece.